I bet you didn't expect to see me hiding in your math slides. Well, here I am. I'm here to talk to you guys all about perimeter. We're going to start by thinking about what perimeter is, how we can find it on rectangles before moving on to look at things like finding missing lengths in composite shapes, and then a bit of problem solving. All right. So if you are ready to get stuck in, you are going to need paper, pencil, this video, and then on the website for afterwards I've put on a worksheet, the answers to that worksheet, and of course the legendary Mrs. Boy's Christmas Maths Challenge for you. All right, so you can tackle day 3 of that once you finish this. So let's get started by reminding ourselves what perimeter is. Hopefully you guys came up with a definition yourselves as well. But perimeter is the distance around the outside of a shape, and we can get it by adding up the lengths of each side. All right, so if we start by looking at the perimeter of rectangles, you can see here I've got a rectangle with a width of 8.2 meters and a length or height of 16.3. Now, the good thing about rectangles is if I know that this is 16.3, I also know that this is 16.3, as they're equal. Same goes with this one. If I know this is 8.2 meters, I know this one is 8.2 meters because, again, they are equal. All right. So 2 methods to calculating this, and you can see which one is your favourite, which one you think perhaps is the most accurate or the quickest for you. Method 1 is simply just adding up each of the sides. So I've got 8.2 at 8.2, 16.3 at 16.3. Now you could do this any way you wanted. I'm going to try mentally. So if I did 8.2 at 8.2, that would be 16.4. Add another 16.3 would be 32.7. Plus another 16.3, well, 32 at 16 would be 48, and then my 0.7 add my 0.3 would come together to equal 1. So 48 add a whole 1 would be 49, or 49.0 if you want to be technical, whatever, it doesn't make any difference really. So 49.0 meters, must remember that measurement. The other way of doing this, guys, and certainly for me, I think this is the easier method, is by firstly adding together the 2 lengths that we've got. So adding together, I've got 8.2 and 16.3. Those were the 2 lengths that I knew. And if I added those 2 together, I would end up with 24.5. Then, as I said, I know I've got 2 of each of those. So if I wanted, a quicker way to do this would be just by doubling those 2 numbers that I've added together. Okay, so 24.5 times 2, or doubled, which again, you could do this a written method. I'm going to try mentally because I know 24 times 2 is 48. If I do 0.5 times 2, that will equal a whole, or 1. So if I added those 2 together, I'm going to end up with 49.0. So it's the same answer, 2 ways of getting it. Adding them all up, or adding together the 2 different sides and then multiplying it by 2, or doubling. Okay. Choose the method you'd like. I'd now like you to have a go at finding the perimeter of each of these 3 shapes. And then once you've done that, order them from largest to smallest. So you can pause me and come back and you can check your answer. Okay. Right, welcome back. So for shape A, I would definitely be trying method 2 where I add the 2 together, double it. 12 at 8, 20 times by 2, 40 centimetres. Nice quick one there for us guys. Middle one, again, you could do it either way. I'm probably going to add the 2 together. 18 and 5 would be 23. And again, double that, times 2 would be 46 centimetres. And then this end one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, I know I don't really like decimal numbers. I'm much more of a whole number gal myself. So if I think about finding, so both of these lengths, if I've got 2 lots of 7.5, that's going to be 15. And then if I've got 2 lots of 14, that's going to be 28. And then if I were to add those 2 together, I would end up with 5 at 8 is 3 or 13. God, silly me. Carry the 1. 2 at 1 is 1, plus the 1 would be 43 centimetres. So that, I think, is the perimeter of each of them. If I wanted to do my last step, which is order them from smallest to largest, I would go A40, C43, B46, I think. Let's check. Yes. I hope you guys got that right with me as well. All right. So maybe that's given you an opportunity to explore which of those is your favourite method. Okay. Hopefully you're feeling good about finding the perimeter of rectangles, because now I'm going to move on to finding missing length, which is, I think, something certainly that I find trickier, and for hopefully all of us, a little bit of extra practice will be really useful. So if you look on my screen, you might be able to see that I have moved on from, apologies, there was an email ding. You will see that I've moved on from rectangles onto the shape you can see, which has got two names, perhaps you can think of it. Either we've got rectilinear shape, which is a shape simply made up of straight lines, or a composite shape, a shape that has been made up of more than one shape. You were looking at finding the area of them, I believe, yesterday, today, I don't know. Yeah, you can see that this is the same, except today we're not going to be finding the area, we are going to find the perimeter. How do we do that, I hear you ask? Well, you're absolutely right, because to find the perimeter of a composite shape, we're going to need to know all of the lengths, because we need to find them all if we're going to add up the total, which will be our perimeter. Now, you can see by these question marks, I've got two missing lengths, and it's up to us to calculate them. Now, there is a really easy way to remember this, which I'm going to talk you through now. So if we look here, I'm going to give them two different colours. This one's going to be my blue. This one's going to be my red. Okay. Now, if we start by looking at my red, you can see, if I look at the direction this line is moving, you can see I've got three lengths going across. And the one that's missing is a shorter length. It's not the longest length going across. Okay. Now, if I've got a shorter side I need to find, shorter, subtract. Okay. I can use the information that I've got to help find out what that length is. So you can see, if we think about it as a bit of like a bar model, you can see I've got 8 centimetres is my longest length. If I think of it as like part whole. So I've got 8 centimetres is the longest length I've got. The other length that I've also got is 4 centimetres. Okay. And hopefully you guys can see that 4 centimetres and my missing length are the same as that longest length, 8 centimetres. So I've got 4 and something work out they're the same if we add them together as 8. So I can use my old pal, the inverse. I can subtract 4 from 8. I can do 8 take away 4 to work out what this missing length is. And you guys know the answer, don't you? 8 take away 4 is going to equal, gosh, that was a dodgy equal sign. It's going to equal 4 centimetres. Okay. So I found my first missing length by subtracting. This one is 4 centimetres. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Right. Second one then. If we move on to my blue missing length, this time, if I look at the lengths I've got going this way, I can see that actually the missing length is my longest side. Now, whereas if it's a shorter length I'm looking for, I subtract. My longest length I'm going to add. Let's have a look at that. I'll draw out cheeky bar model again. Let's change the colour of it this time. I don't know why, it doesn't make any difference, sorry. So this time, if I look, I have got the bit that's missing is my longest side, like my hole. The two bits of information I've got that this side is 2 centimetres. This one is 9. And again, if we look, those two together are the same length as this missing length. So this time I can add them to find out the missing one. So 9 add 2. Oh, my email is popping off. I do apologise, guys. There we go. I add those two together. I'm going to get 11 centimetres. Okay. So that final missing length is 11 centimetres. So if I'm finding a missing length, if it's a shorter length, I'm going to subtract. If it's the longest length, I'm going to add. All right. Now, obviously, that's finding the missing length. If I then wanted to find the perimeter, I would then need to add up all of my lengths. Lots of different ways you could do that. I'm just going to do it mentally, just in terms of wanting to show you quickly. So 8 add 2 would be 10, add 4, 14, add 9, 23, add 4, 27, add 11, 38 centimetres. The perimeter of that shape would be 38 centimetres. I can't remember if I've included the answer as my next slide. Let's have a ganders. No, I didn't. Instead, you just have to take my word for it, okay? So, using the same sort of method, I'd like you to have a look at this screen. You've got 2 missing lengths. I would like you first find those missing lengths using the method I've shown you. Shorter side, subtract. Longer side, you're going to add. Once you've found the missing lengths, then can you add them up to find the perimeter? Okay. And then if you want to pause me, and then I've got one final thing to show you before I set your worksheets. All right. So final thing is a little bit of problem solving. So we've got a shape has been made using identical squares. One square has a perimeter of 14 centimetres. What is the perimeter of the whole shape? Well, let's have a little explore. Let's start by highlighting the important information in my question. So firstly, we know the squares are identical. That means they are all the same. One square has a perimeter of 14 centimetres, and I need to find the perimeter of the whole shape. Okay, so let's start by, if I know that the perimeter of the square is 14 centimetres, I also know that a square has got 4 equal sides. So 14 divided by 4 should give me one side, one length. Yeah, that makes sense, hopefully. So 14 divided by 4. Again, there's a few different ways you can do this. I'm going to do it by dividing by 2, then dividing by 2 again. So 14 divided by 2 would be 7. Divided by 2 again is going to be 3.5 or 3.5 centimetres. Okay. Funny, see that? Now I know that one side is 3.5. I now need to see how many of those sides there are. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So to work out the answer, I need to do 12 times 3.5. Okay, now I'm going to break that down into 2 sections. I'm going to do 12 times 3 is 36. And then 12 times 0.5 or times a half would be 6. Add those 2 together, it's going to be 42 centimetres. Okay. So that was quite a whistle-stop tour, but unfortunately I've only got a couple minutes left on my video of filming time. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're not sure, drop me an email and I can go through it again. All right. Right, whistle-stop tour of finding and calculating perimeter. Now, this is the worksheet that I have uploaded onto our website. So you will see, just like you would in a lesson, you've got a couple of choices on activities for you to start on. So if you're unsure about this, I would be starting on learning, have a couple of goes at those questions. If you're feeling pretty confident, want a bit of practice, start on using, think about how you're going to find those missing lengths, etc. And if you're feeling confident and you fancy a challenge, there are some exploring, you've got some problem solving and kind of a little bit of an exploratory task down here, okay? Once you've completed them, answers are on the website. For some of them, there's lots of different answers, so just have a look and see what different possibilities you can come up with, okay? Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Good luck with this all. I'm sure you will have do an amazing job and look forward to seeing and speaking to you all soon. Take it steady. Bye.